The European Union's Artificial Intelligence Act is the world's first horizontal framework for AI. As enforcement begins, a massive legal apparatus slams shut. For early-stage companies, the cost of non-compliance is staggering. Fines can reach up to 35 million euros, or 7% of worldwide turnover. If you are building an AI startup in Paris, this legislation applies directly to your codebase. The exact same rules apply in Brussels. There are no local loopholes for developers testing new models. This creates a severe bottleneck. Training complex AI models requires iteration, trial, and error. But if a single misstep guarantees bankruptcy, lean teams cannot afford to experiment. Unchecked, a rigid legal framework without a safety valve doesn't just manage risk, it actively crushes grassroots innovation. The drafters of the AI Act anticipated this problem. Chapter 24 contains a series of specific articles written to protect small innovators. It introduces the regulatory sandbox. This is a legally recognized, penalty-free zone where developers can build and test models under direct supervision of regulators. While we are exploring the strategic architecture of the law today, remember this is a legal overview for business planning, not formal legal counsel. When utilized correctly, the AI Act is not purely a punitive weapon. For an informed founder, it functions as an active, protective shield. Article 62 grants European SMEs and startups free and priority access to these sandboxes. Entering the sandbox requires the drafting and approval of a specific testing plan, a formal agreement between your company and the national regulator. Once inside, you are permitted to conduct development, training, validation, and even supervised testing in real-world conditions. As an added financial perk, participating small businesses receive proportionally reduced fees for their eventual conformity assessments. The regulation creates an uneven playing field during R&D, giving startups a VIP fast track while massive tech conglomerates face the market's full pressure. The ultimate benefit of the sandbox is absolute immunity from administrative fines during the testing period. To maintain this shield, you must operate in good faith, strictly adhere to the agreed plan, and maintain total transparency with the authority. There is, however, a critical limitation. The sandbox does not erase or override civil liability. If your AI system escapes its parameters and harms a third party during testing, your startup is still legally and financially responsible for those damages. The sandbox protects innovators from the wrath of the government, but it does not protect them from the consequences of harming the public. When you complete the sandbox program, the authority issues an official exit report and written proof of your successful activities. By law, market surveillance authorities and notified bodies must treat this exit report as highly positive evidence. This pre-verified documentation can drastically reduce pre-launch friction, accelerating the final mandatory conformity assessment required to launch. The sandbox is more than an R&D tool. It is a strategic business mechanism designed to get your product to market ahead of the competition. These timelines have shifted recently with the digital omnibus simplification text, which alters the enforcement calendar for high-risk systems. For innovators in France and Belgium, the target is now August 2, 2027, by which time each member state must have at least one operational sandbox established. In France, the DGCCRF is coordinating this framework, while the CNIL is already providing guidance through its own public sector sandboxes. In Belgium, the BIPT and the FPS economy are expected to lead the implementation, building out the local framework for startup engagement. Early-stage founders must view the AI Act as an opportunity to be leveraged, not a blockade to be feared. For French and Belgian startups, the regulatory sandbox is a free, legally binding competitive advantage, a mechanism designed to move European AI through the continent's complex legal landscape and onto the market.